Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. This time we're taking a look at AI programming languages in 2024.
A great topic.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
And thankfully, we've got this awesome guide to help us break it all down, so.
Yeah, and the landscape can be a little overwhelming, right? Especially if you're just getting started.
Right. We're going to figure out what each language is good at and which ones might be the best for building different kinds of AI projects.
Exactly. And, it's not just about the coding itself.
Okay.
Choosing the right language can seriously impact, how quickly you can actually develop something, how well your AI performs, and even, what kinds of AI you can even create.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, imagine, just for an example, we're building an AI that can, let's say, write different kinds of creative content. Like maybe it can come up with poems or scripts or even song lyrics.
Wow, yeah.
What language would be a good place to start with for something like that? I've heard Python is really popular, especially for beginners.
Oh, yeah. For a project like that, Python would be an excellent choice. It's super beginner friendly. The syntax is really straightforward, and you have access to just a ton of AI-focused libraries, like TensorFlow, for example.
TensorFlow, yeah. That one rings a bell. What is that exactly? Can you remind me?
Yeah, so think of TensorFlow as a toolbox. It's got all these pre-built components that are specifically designed for machine learning. So in your creative AI project, you could use TensorFlow to train a model, on a massive data set of, poems and scripts and lyrics.
Oh, cool.
And the model learns the patterns and structures of those creative forms, and then it can start to, generate new original content in a similar style.
Okay, so it's Python makes it kind of easy to get started.
Yes.
But it's also still powerful enough to actually do something that complex.
Exactly. It strikes that nice balance. And the great thing is there's just this huge online community for Python. So you'll find tons of tutorials, forums, and resources if you ever get stuck.
Awesome. Now, what if we wanted our creative AI to analyze the emotional tone of the content it generates?
Oh, interesting.
To figure out if a poem is happy or sad or maybe even a little bit spooky.
Yeah, I love that.
Is Python still a good fit for that kind of analysis?
You know what? Python could definitely handle that.
Oh, okay.
There are specific libraries, even within TensorFlow, that are meant for sentiment analysis, which is basically understanding the emotional tone of text. But, if you really want to dive deep into analyzing data and maybe create some really slick visualizations to show off those emotional trends, R could become a really interesting option too.
R, okay. That's another one I've heard of. What makes R so, special when it comes to data?
R is the data science powerhouse.
Wow.
It's been a favorite among statisticians and data scientists for years and years. It just has incredibly powerful tools for statistical analysis, which would be, perfect for really dissecting the emotional nuances of your AI's creations. And then you've got a library like ggplot2.
Oh, yeah.
You can turn those insights into stunning visualizations.
Okay, ggplot2. I think I've heard of that. It's for making charts and graphs, right?
Exactly. Imagine creating a beautiful interactive graph that shows the emotional arc of a poem or a script generated by your AI. That's the kind of power you get with R and ggplot2.
That's pretty cool. So, okay, we've got Python, which seems like, a good one for getting started, and it's pretty flexible.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's R, which sounds really good if you're, really getting into analyzing data and presenting it in a cool way.
Exactly.
Now, what if this whole creative AI project, blows up? Let's say a major film studio wants to use it to help their writers brainstorm ideas. Are Python and R still the right tools at that point? Or do we need something, I don't know, more industrial strength?
That's where a language like Java might come into play.
Oh, okay.
If you're talking about building a robust enterprise level system that needs to be super reliable and handle an insane amount of data, Java is often the go-to choice.
So if Python and R are kind of nimble startups, Java is the big established company.
That's a perfect analogy. Java's been around forever, and it's known for its stability, scalability, and performance, especially when you're dealing with, massive data sets, which a film studio would definitely have. Plus, you have frameworks like Weka.
Weka?
Yeah, which are designed specifically for machine learning tasks.
So is that kind of like TensorFlow, but for Java?
You could think of it that way. It provides a whole suite of algorithms and tools for, building and deploying machine learning models within a Java environment. It's a great resource for those big, complex AI projects.
So, okay, now we've got three solid contenders. We've got Python for like ease of use and getting started quickly, R for like data analysis and visualizations, and then Java for the like really big demanding projects.
You got it. And that's what's so cool about this, right? Each language kind of has its place, but we've really only scratched the surface.
Oh, really?
There are so many other fascinating languages out there, each with its own strengths and, quirks.
Well, in that case, let's keep going. I want to see what else is out there.
Let's do it.
All right.
It's funny. A lot of times when people think about AI programming languages, they only think about those, big names like Python or Java, but there's a whole other world out there.
Oh, really?
Full of like these really specialized languages, each with like its own, superpower.
Okay. Like what?
Like one that comes to mind is Julia.
Julia? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, our guide mentioned that one. And it sounded like the, I don't know, the speed demon of the group.
That is a great way to put it.
Okay.
Julia is known for being ridiculously fast. Like, it almost rivals C++ in terms of, like, raw processing power.
Wow.
But unlike C++C, which can be, a bit more complex to work with, Julia actually has a pretty user-friendly syntax.
So it's powerful, but not, like, impossible to learn.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. So when would that kind of speed, like, be really important for an AI project?
So imagine you're building an AI that needs to, analyze a live video feed from, let's say, a self-driving car. And it has to, make split-second decisions to avoid obstacles. Or, I don't know, maybe you're building an AI that controls, like, a robotic arm during a surgery.
Yeah, okay. High stakes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Milliseconds matter in those situations.
Yeah.
And that's where Julia just blows everything else out of the water.
So basically, any AI that needs to work in real time.
Yes. Real-time performance is critical. And even then, you know what? It's not even limited to just those, like, super high-stakes applications. Yeah. Julia is also gaining a lot of traction in scientific computing. So researchers are using it to run really complex simulations and analyze massive data sets.
Wow, it really is like a speed demon then.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's like pushing the boundaries of what's possible with AI.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned C++ earlier.
Yeah.
And our guy talked about how it's known for its, raw power.
Mm-hmm.
Is that still the case? Even with these newer languages, like, coming out like Julia?
Oh, absolutely. C++ is still a major player in the game. Especially, when you need absolute control over the hardware and memory.
Okay.
It's been, like, the backbone of performance-critical applications for decades. Think video game engines, high-frequency trading systems.
Right.
And even, like, some of the most advanced AI systems out there still rely on C++ Lite.
So if you need to, like, squeeze every last drop of performance out of your hardware, C++ is the way to go.
Pretty much. But, like with anything, there's a trade-off.
What's that?
That level of control and performance, it often comes with, like, a much steeper learning curve.
Right. Makes sense.
Compared to, Python or Julia. C++ is a little bit more demanding on the programmer.
Right. You don't get that power for free.
Exactly. But here's something interesting. Even though we're talking about all these different languages, sometimes, you don't have to choose just one.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Sometimes the best approach is to kind of use the right tool for the job. And that might mean, like, combining different languages within the same project.
Oh, okay. So, like, I could use, say, Python for one part of an AI project, then use C++ for another part where I need, that extra speed boost.
Exactly. You can imagine a situation where you're building, like, this super complex AI, and you use Python for, like, the initial prototyping and development.
Okay.
Because it's quick and easy. And then, once you have things working, you realize, oh, this part is a little slow. It's a bottleneck.
Right.
And then you can rewrite that section in C++ to get that speed improvement.
Oh, that's a really interesting way to do it. It's like having a team of specialists, but for your code.
I love that. And sometimes you might even bring in, like, a language that's not as widely used, but it has, like, this unique ability to solve a specific type of problem. One that comes to mind is Lisp.
Lisp. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, our guide called it the wise elder of AI languages.
Oh, yeah, I love Lisp.
What makes it so special?
Lisp has a really long history in AI.
Okay.
Like, way back, it was one of the first languages that was used for AI research, like, in the 50s and 60s. And even though it's not as popular as Python or Java today, it still has like this dedicated following, especially among people who are working on like really advanced AI concepts like symbolic reasoning.
Symbolic reasoning. I haven't heard that term before.
So think about it like this. A lot of modern AI is based on machine learning, where you train a model on tons of data and it learns to find patterns. Symbolic reasoning is a little different. It's more about like representing knowledge and logic using symbols and rules. It's kind of like how we as humans think about abstract concepts.
Oh, okay. So it's almost like you're teaching the AI to think more like a person.
Yeah, exactly. Using logic and reasoning.
Interesting.
And Lisp, with its syntax and these powerful features for symbol manipulation, it's still seen as one of the best languages for those kinds of problems.
Okay, so we've got Julia for speed.
Yes.
C++ for, raw power and control.
Uh-huh.
And Lisp for those really, like, mind-bending AI problems.
You got it.
That involve symbolic reasoning.
Okay.
This is amazing.
And we're not even done yet.
Oh, there's more.
There's one more I think you'll find really interesting. It's kind of a wild card,
right.
But, you know, it has the potential to really shake things up in the world of AI.
Okay, I'm ready. What's this mystery language that's going to shake things up?
It's called Rust.
Rust.
Yeah, it's been gaining popularity for a while now in other areas of software development, but it's really starting to make a name for itself in the AI world, too.
Rust? Huh. I don't think I've heard of that one before in the AI world. What's it all about?
Well, Rust is all about performance, reliability, and safety.
Okay.
Think of it like this. You get the speed and control of C++, but it has these built-in safeguards to help, prevent those common programming errors that can cause, like, crashes or security vulnerabilities.
So it's kind of like C++, but maybe a little bit more careful?
That's a great way to put it.
Okay. So when would those safeguards be really important in like an AI project?
Well, think about AI systems that are controlling like really critical infrastructure.
Okay.
Like power grids or transportation systems or like medoodle devices or, self-driving cars where a software bug could have some really, really serious consequences. That's where Rust really shines,
Right. Because if you're building an AI that's going to like impact people's lives in a direct way,
yes,
you really want to make sure it's like super reliable and safe.
Exactly. And the thing is, it's not just about preventing errors.
Okay.
Rust can often lead to more efficient code, which means better performance too.
Oh, so you get like the safety and the speed. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's a pretty powerful combination. And the Rust community is growing so fast. There are more and more libraries and tools becoming available for AI development. It's definitely a language to keep an eye on.
Wow. Okay, so let's see if I can remember all this. We've got Python. That's our like friendly starting point.
Yes, very versatile.
R is our like data expert.
Yes, the data miser.
Java is like our enterprise, heavy lifter.
Yes.
Julia is the speed demon.
Yes.
C++ is like raw power.
Yes.
Lisp is the, the brain.
Yes. The wise elder.
The wise elder.
Yeah.
And then Rust is the safe and reliable one.
The safety champion.
The safety champion. Yes. That's amazing. I can't believe how each one of those languages brings like something totally different.
It is really amazing. And it's what makes AI programming so exciting, right? There's just this constant innovation and, everyone's trying to create these new tools and approaches to solve these really complex problems.
It's like having a whole like tool belt to build these amazing AIs.
Yes.
That can do, well, really anything, it seems like.
Exactly. And, we really are just at the beginning of this. It's going to be exciting to see what happens in the next few years.
This has been seriously like mind-blowing.
Yeah.
I feel like I came in knowing almost nothing about AI programming languages. Mm-hmm. And now I actually understand like what they're good at, what they're not good at, and like how they all kind of fit together.
Well, that's awesome. I'm so glad you feel that way. And, this is just the beginning. The best way to learn is just to like jump in and start experimenting.
You're absolutely right. Time for me to, stop talking about it and actually start, coding something. Well, hey, thanks so much for walking us through all this. This was awesome.
You're so welcome. It was a pleasure to be here. And happy coding.
And to all our listeners out there, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI programming languages. We hope you found it fun and informative. And until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible with AI.